When are we gonna?
When are we gonna go public for the people?
Yeah, we're already public, but we got to get our subscribers up so we can get some shareholders.
Little tabby holders.
You need something to hold your tablet up.
Something to hold a tablet.
Let's see. What can we use?
No, I'm good. I don't need it now.
You want something to prop it up?
I do not. Not even a little bit.
All
right. So we're back in action.
You know what we should start doing?
Podcast.
We got to start including what episode number it is. I like that. I like when they do that.
Is episode Eagles schedule release. That's what I have it under. This is episode number schedule Eagles schedule release.
What kind of accent was that? Schedule.
Got
a nice schedule coming up for you. But we should start including that. I want to start adding that in. Figure out what episode
lack
number.
Of mental brain cells. That's the accent. Schedule. Schedule, yeah. Unless it is an accent, I just don't know about it.
Schedule.
Did you take the wrapper off? Because no free plugs.
Yeah.
You don't want people getting one over on the 1 to 13 podcast. We have zero knowledge of ball. And we should never talk sports. Quite frankly, it's a travesty that we're even talking about any sports.
These water bottles you see, this is about 90% of what I consume. And I read, I don't know, a couple months ago.
The other 10% is penis.
Speaking of penis, I read somewhere over 99% of men were found to have plastic in their testicles in this study that I read. So we're all got plastic in us, Dons. We've got the plastic in us, around us, all over us.
Not only, you're telling me that not only do I have a micro penis, I also have microplastic. Just call me the micro man.
You're micromanaging.
I am the one to have some fun. Anyway,
you
dude.
Good. You sound
welcome
good? You happy?
To the 1 to 32 podcast. I don't really know what to do with my hands now that I don't have a laptop in front of me, but it's okay. Go Birds. Listen, we are all celebrating the fact that we have some NFL news. The NFL has blessed us with the schedule release, and I know fans out there everywhere are going, win-loss, win-loss, win-loss.
Best game ever, Dons.
Yeah, dude, it is. It is a
Best
good
game
feeling
ever.
to see, like, what's going on, where you have to travel, how many home games, how many away games, all that good nonsense. But what I want to talk to you about here before we get into a little bit about the Birds is the NBA playoffs. And obviously, right now, it's an exciting time to be an NBA fan. I feel like this has been one of the first years in a while for me where the NBA playoffs has been filled with exciting games. It hasn't just been like the number 1 seed blows through the number 1, number 2 seed just blows through the whole conference, and it's 50-point wins every single week. Now, we have had some of that, obviously. You know, the Celtics just blew out the Knicks last game. I think they won by what? Like, I don't know the score. I don't know the final score off the top of my head, but they won by like 26 points or something like that, which is a lot of points. A lot of points.
Don's wanted to start with basketball today, specifically NBA playoffs, because he's a closet Knicks fan.
Closeted Knicks fans.
Like, he supports the Knicks, but
listen,
go ahead.
It's not my fault. I'm a third child, all right?
Yeah.
And basketball isn't really my biggest jam. You know, I like ball. I like watching ball. Dude, I'm telling you. But
you love ball. Stop playing.
I do, but not like the way that I love the Eagles, you know? Not like the way I love the NFL. I'm not like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, I jump around like a fool watching the Eagles game. I don't jump around like a fool watching, you know, the Knicks games.
A little insight into Don's for the listeners. Don's has a exquisite, top-notch elbow jumper. You get him at the elbow from either side, money in the bank. Old school 90s power forward.
Yeah, but I'm 5'9".
So you'd be like a shooting guard.
So I'm not very good at basketball, you see. I'm a hustle guy, dude. I'm a hustle guy. I just like to try hard, be hard all times.
So Knicks,
try hard, be hard.
Right now, as we're recording this, Knicks are playing tonight against the Celtics. Game 6 in New York. Does it end tonight, Dons, or are we getting a game 7?
So the Knicks are up 3-2.
You're
playing in New York.
Tatum's out. Recovering.
Which
Speedy.
I don't necessarily think is the worst thing in the world for the Celtics. Not in this particular series, because Tatum, he had that 45-point game where he got injured. But again, I feel like every time it matters, Tatum is just so quick to redirect the ball to somebody else. It's a little disappointing because he has all the key elements of an absolute ice cold assassin on the basketball courts. But I've just seen him too many times revert back to what he was before. And last year, he pulled it off in the playoffs where he balled completely outrageous. And they ended up winning a championship because him and Jaylen Brown really learned how to take over games. And this year, I see a little bit of divergence in their game.
Asterisk in that championship last year.
Why?
Everybody got hurt. Everybody they had to play was hurt.
So
Halliburton, Greek Freak. Everybody was hurt last year.
That's
they
the way
win.
the cookie
I know.
crumbles, man. Every
championship you can say that about.
is like that. You know, it's hard to look at a championship winning team, and a big part of it is staying healthy. That's part of the game.
So, I don't know. Did we get a prediction out of that from Don's guys, or did we get a bunch of mumbo jumbo? Don's,
No.
are we getting a game 7, or is it ending tonight in the Garden?
I think game 7.
Yeah.
I think game 7.
Give us 7 games.
I want the Knicks to win. I really do, and I want them to win today.
I know
I
you
have
do.
my older brother. He's a big Knicks fan, loves the Knicks, goes up to Madison Square Garden to watch games. He went up to go watch the Celtics lose to the Knicks over in the Garden in Boston. This, I think, a couple weeks ago. I don't even remember how long ago it was, but he went there. So I'm pulling for him because my boy hasn't seen a championship ever his whole Knick fandom life, and I want my brother to experience what it's like. So
we shouldn't let Don's and the Knicks have all the spotlight. Me, myself, Laker fan, so I don't really have a dog in the fight. I sadly had to watch my
hey, Buck.
I was almost going to call him what everybody else has been calling him, which is an overweight alcoholic. But to me, he's just a guy who pulled a sorry-ass team pretty far in the playoffs, and that's Luka Doncic.
Why is he an alcoholic?
Well, there's a big scene. It was the playoffs, maybe the finals last year. And after the game, Luka's holding a beer. And Michael Finley, who's either works for the team, is on the team, is in management.
Champion Michael Finley.
Beast, loved him as a shooting guard.
Michael Finley. Let's
Great
put some
player.
respect on his name.
Love Michael Finley. But he comes up to Luka in the video and grabs the beer out of his hand,
Yeah,
takes
I
it
remember.
away. So,
And Luka's just like, damn.
yeah.
But is that like, I don't know, are
I
you
just-
an alcoholic or are you just celebrating a win?
Yeah. Let the guy have a
It
good
is
time.
bad optics. It is bad
Exactly.
optics. You shouldn't do that. I've never seen another player ever do something like that. But then they go to the back of the locker room, they pop in champagne, acting like that ain't alcohol. So it's a little double standard.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, I'm not making any judgments as far as, you know, that stuff, but you look at Luka and he's not moving the way he used to be. He is a little bit pudgier. And
That
you know,
American
sometimes
food, Don's. Got that red 40 in him now. That red 40.
I got the microplastics. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think Luka Doncic just needs to take the game a little bit more seriously if he wants to be that championship player. He's a beast. He's a savage. And I get it. He can still perform like such an all-star being the way
young.
that he's being. But sometimes, you know, you also forget these guys are kids. How old is Luka?
Got to be 24, maybe 25.
He's still a kid, bro.
Anybody selling Luka Doncic stock, I'll buy it.
Yeah, for
I'll
real.
take it.
Yeah, Luka's still young. People need to grow up sometimes professionally, you know, or they don't. Also, he's super rich and he can just keep doing what he's doing, and you know.
So my
I
team's
gotta
out.
stop saying, you know.
I'm rooting for Don's team. Hoping the Knicks can pull it out. Celtics are a really talented, deep team. But then again, the Knicks went out this offseason and said, you know what we need to do? We need to match with those Celtics. Let's go out and get a Miles Bridges. Let's go out and get a Karl Anthony Towns.
Which Knicks fans?
What?
People been hating on Bridges all year long. I got a couple friends that are Knicks fans, and they're like, "Oh, those first round picks, man. If he gets you over this hump and he gets you there, I don't want to hear nothing about Bridges because this guy has been pouring his soul out for the New York Knicks, making defensive stops, being a pest, being around the ball, getting rebounds, making sure that he's doing everything in his power to be able to contribute. He plays like what, all the minutes except for like 5 minutes
tips,
in
dude.
the game.
That's tips for you.
He has like, I think I heard something that I might be wrong. It's like 600 games, consecutive games where he doesn't, that he has played in a row. That's amazing.
Tibbs
Talk about
runs his
availability.
players into the ground. He's notorious for that.
Yeah, so I think the Celtics are going to force a game 7. This series has been super exciting. Even the last blowout where the Celtics just beat the crap out of the Knicks at the end. The Knicks were in that game for 3 quarters. They had control of that entire game, and then they just let it slip by because it felt like the sense of urgency wasn't there for them.
Sometimes you just get an idea in your head, Dons, and you got to run with it. What if I said to you the Super Bowl was a series of 3?
What do you mean?
a 3-game series for the Super Bowl. So the Eagles play the Chiefs. 2 weeks later,
Oh,
they
I
play them
see.
again in Kansas City. So you get 1 game in Philly, 1 game Kansas City, 1 game neutral field. What do you think? Too much football? Too much time in between games? If you ask me, 3 games. It would be kind of cool. 3-game series.
It sounds cool, but I think the way that football is designed, it's just not doable.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a doable thing to do?
I guess it would be a whole players association, like, we're going to play how many more games, and I thought we cared about player
But
safety.
screw all that. We're not the NFL Players Association. Just out of like curiosity,
Fun.
Like, what do you think?
If you give them 2 weeks off between a game, like, you play a Super Bowl, then you have a bye week, and then maybe you play on a Thursday, or you wouldn't do that, but maybe giving them a week off in between,
But what if you win 2?
then it's over. Yeah, it's a 3-game series, so if you win the first 2, it's over.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it would be just a cool. It
I
just got
think
me
it'd be
thinking.
cool. I just don't think it'd work for football, dude.
No.
People get injured.
Too physical, right?
Yeah, and I also like the desperation of it all. I like that, like, I have to give everything I have because I'm not going to get another opportunity, maybe ever again in my lifetime, to play in this game.
It's an old.
I think that's what adds more excitement to the Super Bowl too.
I'm with you, Dons. I feel like that in March Madness too. College basketball. You get a 1 against a 16. It's 1 game. You start out cold, or you get somebody in foul trouble. All of a sudden, they've got momentum. And we got 6 teams beating 1 seeds. But it was just a random idea that came to thought. What if we had a 3-game series for the Super Bowl? Would the Giants...
That'd be crazy. I'm
Well,
like trying to logistically picture it in my mind.
Well, how about things like this? Like, would the Giants have beaten the Patriots 2 out of 3 games?
Oh, definitely not.
way. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick.
Well, no, because like you also have to think football is a lot of like game planning. So if you throw your best game plan in the ring, and then you have a week to prepare for that, then you adjust. And I get that you're gonna have to plan for another game and stuff, but
Would the Birds have ran the Philly special with Nick Foles if we had 2 more games to go? Probably not. We're holding that in our back pocket for
Yeah.
another game.
that's true,
Right?
That's true.
Anyways,
that's
so-
true. Anyways,
NBA playoffs. Had me
NBA
just-
playoffs.
It just got me thinking.
I think Celtics Knicks go to Game 7, and then we also have the Nuggets going to Game 7 as well. So, who do
Give
you
me
want
the
to win
drama.
that series?
Who do I want to win? The hot team this year is OKC. They got the MVP, but I'm boring. I'm old school. I like Jokic. I like an old school center who can pass, who can bang in the post, who just is absolutely boring to watch. Seems like he doesn't even enjoy basketball. All he cares about is horse racing and getting back to his horses in Serbia.
Which
But
there's
man,
nothing wrong. There's nothing
No.
wrong with that. Sometimes it is just a job. I know I don't go into work saying I love this. This is the best thing in the world. So,
I know, but
it is a job, and
Yeah.
the USA media is we're nasty.
we're out to get you.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're definitely out to get you. So I do understand the pressures and like just not wanting to give a damn because it's his job.
I'm rooting for Jokic.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
would like to see OKC win, and I would also like to see the Knicks win for obvious reasons. But also, I would like to see a new champion crowned. I think it's good for the league when a new champion gets crowned, and also let's get these old heads out of the league.
Who are you trying to get rid of?
LeBron.
Oh, come
No, I'm not trying to
on.
get rid of them, but I just when people keep winning like championship after championship after championship, it kind of loses its lust a little bit for the rest of the league.
NBA is in a weird spot. I won't go off on too long of a tangent, but we don't have many.
We already have.
We don't have too many young American superstars. So you've got Anthony Edwards. Shea is from Canada. You've got Greek Freak from Greece. You've got Jokic, not from here. You've got Luka Doncic, not from here. So
Where's
we
Shane
just-
Gilgeous-Alexander from?
He's from Canada. He's a Canadian cat.
Really? What about that guy Chet?
Chet Holmgren, he ain't no superstar.
No?
So my point was like, you were talking about getting rid of the old heads. Jokingly, the NBA is in sort of this weird place where once Curry and
Yeah.
LeBron go, who's gonna take
Yeah.
that torch? Is it? Well, we thought it was gonna be Zion. It's not John Morant. He's too busy. Is it the guy who's about to get drafted #1, Cooper Flag? Is it the guy who got drafted last year, Wemby?
From France.
Oui, oui.
Bonjour.
I think. Oh, you know what? I wish I would have had these numbers pulled up. I'm gonna look them up now. The draft was on the same night as some NBA playoff games, so I want to see what the ratings were if I can pull them up in time. If
Oh
not,
my
we'll
God, the
probably move on.
draft smoked the NBA playoffs. Yeah, I saw the numbers. The draft
Right?
smoked the NBA playoffs. Yeah, let's see it.
Okay. I just assumed, but NBA playoffs sometimes, depending on who's playing or if it's a good matchup, you would think NFL probably won, but it might take
I need to
forever
ask you
figure
a
this out.
real personal question here.
I'm ready, dude. What do you got?
Are you using Microsoft Edge?
I don't know.
you might be the only person on this entire. You're keeping this whole company afloat. You're the only person I've seen in my life ever use Microsoft Edge.
2025 NFL Draft saw second highest viewership on record, 40% year-over-year rise. So it doesn't compare versus NBA, but it does
just not
say
looking up the
more
right
people
thing.
are watching, despite the fact that there was less people invited this year to the draft, all that jazz. But anyways, back on track.
Who's on track? Anyways, enough basketball talk. I don't know. I don't care. Go Knicks. If they lose, I really don't lose a lot of sleep over it, but go Knicks.
If the Eagles lose, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah,
the
if the
whole
Eagles
week,
lose,
so
I cry, I punch,
I'm just quiet. Stay away from me. Just kidding.
I go under the covers. Anyways, big news. Big news.
When you found out the schedule was going to be on this night, didn't it give you like the season's coming, like we're almost there, like
Yeah.
we're getting there, like we're almost.
Can't wait to gamble.
Nah,
When
you know
the
what, dude?
schedule release came out, all I could think about is like my sweet parlays, dude. I can't wait till my sweet parlays come back to life. Oh God,
It was bittersweet for me, Dons. You know why? Because I'm thinking like, and I've had this thought all off season, even the last couple episodes, but like, after you win the Super Bowl, okay, you have that night, then you have the next day, and you have maybe 48 hours where people are talking about you, and then we're already on to the combine, the draft, the new season. I don't like that you don't get to enjoy. I mean, we have the whole season, yes, to be a champion, but by then people are already talking about week 1, week 2. This team's hot. The Eagles lost the first
Yeah.
game. You kind of lose that, like. So I want to hold on to that of, hey, wait a minute, guys. We're still the champs right now, defending champions. Let's not lose this and just be so quick to move on.
Yeah, it's also our second time around too, and like the first time around, like I can relate big time heavily to AJ Brown, where it's like, oh damn, we won, this is great, but like now what? Now what? And I know we sound like ungrateful fans because God, I do love the Eagles, and like while I'm in it, like,
Yeah.
damn, I'm in it watching those games, like. I just be acting a fool all the time watching the games.
Or-
it's really not good for my blood pressure, I can assume.
The fact that the first year we started doing this pod, we
won the Super Bowl?
effing Super Bowl, dude. I
yeah.
mean, that's
It
something
was-
I'll never forget.
It's perfect. Yeah, and we get to die with that in our grave. That's
So-
what's gonna be on my tombstone.
Yeah.
He died 2025. The pod led the championship.
Eagles fan once and for all. No,
Pod led the way.
I say all that to say that like this is other than the we had the draft. Now we have the schedule release. This is sort of getting us closer to turning the page to a new season, to
Yeah.
the old thing I kind of hate to say, but we're going to say it, Dons, which is last year doesn't matter anymore.
It don't matter.
You got to climb the mountain again. Brady talks
We're
about it all
on
the
to
time.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's not like what do they compare it to in wrestling, WWE. It's not where like we have the belt and somebody now has to take it from us.
Yeah.
It's we all start in the same place. We got to climb the mountain, get to the top.
Yeah.
So
You get the label of defending champions, but it's not really.
schedule-wise, Dons, I mean, we're going
Yeah.
to talk about it, but
Yeah,
whew,
let's
we
talk
definitely
about
got
the Eagles' schedule. Let me give you a rundown of weeks 1 through 18. If that's cool with you.
Yeah,
of all
let's
the
do it,
games
dude.
we got. All right, so big night, obviously ring ceremony night, and we'll get into it. I'm just gonna list off this whole thing and then we'll go to it because
I'll let you
we'll
go
be
off,
here
dude.
forever. So Eagles schedule: we start the season playing the Cowboys at home, banner night. We go to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. We come back home to play the Rams. Back to go play the Bucks. Back out there, traveling to go see the Bucks, Broncos, at Giants, at Vikings, home against the Giants again. Big bye. At the Packers, Lions at home, at the Cowboys, Bears at home, at the Chargers, Raiders, at Commanders, at Bills, and the season Commanders at home. Chris, what are your thoughts on the, first thoughts on the schedule, just seeing the schedule in general?
Well, the Eagles certainly got the defending Super Bowl champion treatment. The Eagles will be the first team in NFL history to face 10-plus teams that made the playoffs the previous season.
It's technically 9.
Well,
It's just we play the Commanders twice.
yeah.
Yeah, we played 9 teams that were, and it's not just, they were at the top of the NFL. It's not just that they were the division; it was the literal top of the NFL. Like if you rank AFC, NFC, these teams were like 1 through 5 the whole way. It was not like you're getting like a bad wild card team that's like 10-7 or whatever. You're getting like another 14-3 team that is a wild card team like the Vikings or whatever.
The only thing that I'll say, and it's goes sort of unspoken or you don't really think about it, but almost every year, like clockwork, Dons, you have about half the teams who made the playoffs the previous year don't make it. So it's almost like clockwork. Every year you have 4, 5, 6 teams who made it the year before. All of a sudden, injuries, take a step back, fire the coach, bad start. Somebody, and then all of a sudden they're not in the playoffs. So.
Well, that's why it's so hard to repeat as champions. Like to go back to back is super difficult, and it's because you get this atrocious. We have no back to back home games this year. How do we have no back to back home games? And twice this season we have to play in division games 2 out of the 3 weeks that we're playing. Like, what type of shit is that?
We got the Super Bowl champion schedule, Dons. We're playing on Monday.
I feel like we got a little bit of extra hate, to be honest, on this one.
We're playing on almost every day of the week. Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're playing on, I think, 5 or 6 primetimes games, standalone games, short weeks. So, I mean, we'll get into it, but the Eagles definitely got the short end of the stick, as you would expect, as a defending Super Bowl champ.
Here's my gripe with this is that I haven't compared any other Super Bowl champions post like following year schedule. So I can't say like this is bullshit. Like the Eagles are getting gypped by the league and all this other stuff. So I can't say that, but it does kind of feel like they're kind of twisting it a little bit extra for us to not give us back-to-back home games all year long. I think is honestly criminal.
Compared to last year where we started out in Brazil and lost the home game, I'm just thankful that we're starting the season at home. We did earn that by winning the Super Bowl, but
it wasn't given to us.
The Birds notoriously start out shaky, iffy, kind of takes a little bit, as most teams or good teams do. You're not going to click right away, but with the first 4 or 5 weeks of the schedule, it is not going to be easy, Downs.
I feel like this whole schedule is going to be difficult. And honestly, even like games like against the Broncos are a decent team. The Bears are poised to have a better season than last. And even playing against the Chargers, you have year 2 of Harbaugh. So what's that going to look like?
And I think that's the game we're traveling across the country, too. I believe it's in L.A.
Yeah, it don't matter, though. It is at the Chargers. We've done it so many times, and we always the heroes persevere. I had a question for you, and I just completely lost it, bro.
It'll come back to you. It always does, Dons.
Lose it. How dare you? Whatever.
Where do you want to begin, Mr. Captain Dons? I've got so much to talk about.
We do, and we don't. Here's the thing. It's really bothering me that I can't remember what I was going to ask. I can't get over it, dude. It's in my head. So how about you lead the way?
All right. I think we should start with going over the first 4 games and kind of breaking them down. Just, I know you went over the first 18 or the whole 18 schedule, but
just to give out the schedule.
The first 4 weeks of the season for the Eagles is no easy task. Who we're playing, where we're playing, the motivations behind them. So I'll read them off. And then just a brief comment about each one, Dons, and we'll kind of go back and forth. But week 1.
I just want to let you know that I remembered.
Okay, good. Perfect timing. Throw it in. I knew you would. Sometimes your brain just has to go somewhere else.
Thanks, bro.
To find it.
While I was doing my research before we go somewhere else, right, because this is related to schedule release, and you just said that we have how many primetime games?
I want to say 5 to 6.
5 to 6, right? So I was reading on the Eagles website while I was doing some research. Dave Spadaro, insider for the Philadelphia Eagles, does a great job, really pushes a lot of the reporting, really the face of media when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles themselves. Great guy, great spirit, great reporting. He wrote an article talking about the Philadelphia Eagles' prominence in the NFL and how we keep getting rewarded because we kind of deserve those rewards. And it almost seems like this last decade, the Eagles have their names to throw in the hat, or whatever the hell it's called, to be considered kind of in the running for America's team.
I had a feeling you're going to say that.
If you think about it, we've been playing internationally. We played in Brazil. Didn't we play in Germany a couple years ago as well? Or London, something like that?
We played in London, in London.
We played in London. We're getting all these primetime spots Monday nights, Sunday nights. We're getting Thursday night games. Like, he has a good point. Like, we talked about this last week where Dallas is not America's team anymore. Like, who's America's team? The Eagles, I don't know. It's kind of looking like throw their name in the ring there.
It's hard for me to say that we're America's team when I feel like everybody hates the Birds. I feel like the Chiefs could be America's team right now with Taylor Swift and the Kelsey and Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Yeah, but they're at the end of it. You know, I shouldn't say they're at the end of it.
Better be careful.
Yeah, they're not at the end of it. They're definitely not at the end of it. But like, I'm talking about Travis Kelsey being at the end of it. You know,
Last
he's at the
season
end of
for
his
him.
career, maybe a year or two left.
Supposedly he lost 25 pounds and he looks slim.
Good for him. Good for him, because he deserves it. And when you're older, you do need to be in better shape in order to keep up with these dudes. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because you mentioned how many primetime games we had, and it's like just kind of kicked in that Dave Spadaro article where it's like, well, you know, this dude has a point.
You're right. The last 10 years or so, we've been to 3 Super Bowls. We've continuously made playoff runs. One year we had to take a step back. But other than that, the Eagles have been consistent. They have drafted well.
Yeah.
They've been to 2 different Super Bowls with 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different coaches. So I just think because we have so much hate and we're just
But I also feel like
rough and rowdy,
Yeah. But that's
hard for
also a
people
byproduct of our environment.
hard for people to wrap their arms around us.
I mean, it's the whole reason why we're doing this podcast, to enrich in our lives as Eagles fans, right? To build a bigger community that we could talk birds with, to talk birds with each other. You know, my whole life we would text every now and then or talk every now and then about the Eagles, but there's so much time in my life where I just don't have anybody to talk to about the birds, really. And like my dad will ask me about the Eagles and stuff, and we'll talk with your dad and as much as you can, but
I'd be writing notes down during the week, Don, to
Yeah.
talk to you about or stuff for the pod. I'm like, I got to get this off my chest, or if I can't call you or talk to you, I'll put in a note.
Yeah.
And, now we have an outlet for it. We can talk about it.
I also think the Eagles hate, and also during the Super Bowl run, how many anybody but the Chiefs, and how many people saying good birds to you that weren't Eagles fans when you saw you wearing stuff.
Even now.
Even now, yeah.
I wear my Eagles Super Bowl hat proudly. I would say at least 4 or 5 people come up to me, hey, congratulations, man. Was really rooting for you. And what's the first question I ask them, Dons? I say, oh, you must be a Pats fan, right? Anybody but the Chiefs. And I play right into it. And what do they all do? Yeah, man, anybody but the Chiefs. We're really rooting for you guys. We don't want Mahomes and Reed to catch Brady and Belichick. We didn't want that. You weren't rooting for the Eagles, but hey, it felt good.
Can we talk about Tom Brady? Can we talk about Tom Brady for a second?
Let's talk about Tom Brady.
Because there's something that I got to get off my chest, because I've been hearing a lot of Tom Brady quotes go out there because he's retired and all this other stuff. And it's, what's the biggest thing he says? And this isn't probably word for word, but he says, what is it? Hard work like beats talent when talent don't work hard and stuff like that. And you don't have to be blessed with like the greatest gifts at all. Can you do me a favor on your computer right now?
Yeah, what do you want me to look up?
Can you please pull up Tom Brady's just Wikipedia?
Bam. Wikipedia.
Okay, so Tom Brady here is 6'4", 225 pounds, and is a handsome ass motherfucker. I do not want to hear from Tom Brady's mouth that he wasn't born gifted. Maybe he's not the biggest athlete in the world, but he's still a ginormous man. He's super duper sexy, and he's mad rich. I mean, look at his teeth, bro. Who got teeth like that, bro? Everybody talking about Tom Brady like he's some dude that worked at a supermarket like Kurt Warner or something. Like, bro, you were 6'4". You got ginormous hands. You throw the ball really freaking well.
This guy, Dons?
That guy.
So what I did, guys, is I pulled up a picture of Tom Brady at the Combine.
That guy.
And he looks, Don, how would you describe this human in front of us? Does this look like a 7-time Super Bowl champion?
He looks like he just got done shopping at Walmart at 11 p.m. at night. That's what Tom Brady looks like.
First of all, he looks miserable.
Pre-draft picture.
He's got his arms like down by his side like he's depressed. He just looks like a regular guy. Go ahead, Dons.
But pause for a second.
Yep.
Pause for a second.
What?
That's what quarterbacks used to look like back then.
Yeah.
That's what quarterbacks used to look like back then. You have to remember, like the 2010s. Like the 2010s was really when people really started getting.
Doesn't look like that.
Yeah, look. I mean, he looks better. Patrick Mahomes looks better, but Patrick Mahomes don't look that great either.
No.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like these dudes, that's Patrick Mahomes. Fat picture of Mahomes. Anyways, don't tell me you weren't blessed. See, look at that. Now that's a real champion right there, Jalen Hurts.
Hurts holding the trophy. Guy looks happy as can be, man.
As happy as can be.
Looking at his baby.
Anyway, so
funny.
yeah, it kind of ticks me off that Brady's like, oh, genetically, I'm not as gifted. And I get you worked hard, dude. I'm not saying you're not the greatest of all time because you are. It's just, dude, fucking give it a rest. Fucking New England fans. Like, Tom Brady was a nobody. Dude, you still played for Michigan.
Yep.
One of the best schools,
like
and collegiate programs you can go to.
Like he's just a regular average Joe, like any of us could do it, right?
He's not the quarterback from freaking URI, and even the quarterback from URI is still playing D1 football.
Let's
anyway.
I gotta do it.
I had to get that off my
No, I mean you're making me want to just open the floodgates a little bit now.
Go for it, bro.
The first 3 Super Bowls, Tom Brady was not responsible for winning those. He was carried by an elite coaching staff and an elite defense with the all-time greatest kicker, Adam Vinatieri. If you look at his playoff stats, their first Super Bowl run, I think he threw 1 touchdown pass in the playoffs before they got to the Super Bowl. So I love Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time, but the first 2 or 3 Super Bowls,
No, you don't. You don't
he's
love
not
Tom
the
Brady.
reason. Well, I actually do love him. You know why, Dons?
Why?
Because we're his kryptonite. My
Yeah,
dad is a Giants fan. Eli Manning beat him twice. Nick Foles. I mean,
I completely disagree with you. The narrative that Brady didn't win his first 3 Super Bowls, I can understand when you look at it statistically, but Brady made all the right reads. He
game manager.
changed all
Game manager.
And what's wrong with that, bro? This still takes
Nothing.
a lot. Think about, we went out to go run routes the other day. Think about how hard that was.
Dude.
You know?
I'm with you. It wasn't a dig at Brady. It was more of like a,
It was a dig at Brady.
like-
and I'm not going to let you say it wasn't.
when he's down 14 points in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks and that elite defense, probably an all-time defense, Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett, Cam Chancellor, when he's down 14 points in the fourth quarter and dinks and dunks his way to a comeback victory, not to mention Pete
Yeah.
Carroll screwed that game up, but I'll give him credit for that. But he didn't do that in the beginning. He wasn't doing that in the beginning. It was
you don't
defense,
always
run the
need to,
ball,
though.
don't screw it up. There's a famous call in the Super Bowl where Brady gets the ball against the Rams, and John Madden, who's on the mic with Pat Summerall, basically insinuates
Legends.
the Patriots should just knee the ball and go to overtime. And that's when Brady dinks and dunks and chunks his way down the field to win the Super Bowl. So even John Madden, the all-time great, rest in peace, in his first Super Bowl said, hey, guys, maybe we should play it safe here with a young Tom Brady.
And
That
he
all
was
I'm saying.
wrong.
He was wrong.
And he was super wrong because it seems like John Madden doesn't know what he's talking. Zero knowledge of football, John
Wait.
Madden. Maybe you should never talk sports. How about that?
Should we talk about that's where the Patriots were recording the Rams? And, you know, they had the video camera. They found out Marshall Faulk apparently was going to be on punt return.
Everybody was cheating.
I love it. This is where Don
Everybody
turns into a
cheated.
Patriots fan.
Everybody
He just
cheated.
can't hold back, guys.
Everybody cheats. Everybody cheats. Just
How
some
come
more
only
than
the
others.
Pats get caught in the biggest scandals? How come no other teams get caught all the time? I don't get
haters
it.
gonna hate, bro. Haters gonna hate.
My favorite is the text messages between Brady with Yastrzemski, where he tries to say, deflating the ball. He's like, man, I was losing weight. What do you mean? That's what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about deflating the balls. I was talking about losing weight.
Yeah, who cares?
If Brady doesn't give me a pair of signed cleats, it's going to be a rugby Sunday talking about the condition of the footballs. I love it,
Who
man.
cares about deflated footballs? Like, that really makes that big a difference. That's
It's
such
not
a
about the balls.
Loser shit.
It's about
That's
lying.
loser shit mentality, bro.
It's
That's
about
loser
lying.
Shit.
It's about lying. You broke the rules. You can't do
yeah,
that.
he lied, but that's still loser shit, bro. It's still
can't
loser
break the
shit.
rules.
And also, he broke. Yeah, but no, because
Filmed.
no.
Go ahead. This is where, and I know we're a podcast for the Eagles, guys, but just listen to the passion in Don's voice.
A line.
He's a Pats
There's
fan.
always a line, and people always dance on the line. And people,
Yes.
since the beginning of time, have been inflating or deflating footballs while they play the game. There's so many quarterbacks. There's so many other players that have gone on record saying, like, yeah, we've done this a million times before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear that bullshit that the reason why they won championship
No,
was because
that's
a
not the
ball
reason.
was fucking deflated. If you really think that, you're a dumbass.
Yeah, no, that's not what I said.
You're
If you
a
think
big
that they won,
dumb.
no, that's not the reason they won. But filming people and Spygate is a huge reason that they had the success that they did.
Oh,
the
for
NFL
sure.
covered up, literally stopped the tapes. Don't let people see what they were recording. Jay Glazer, you can look it up. He plays it at his parties sometimes. What the Patriots were able to see and film in the Super Bowls. The camera goes from the
Oh, yeah,
sideline.
for sure there was cheating.
Okay, well, then
Especially against like the Eagles, there was cheating too.
well, then that's the opposite of what you just said 2 minutes ago, which is if you think the Patriots won Super Bowls because they cheated or whatever, then that's not true.
Well, that's not the
Well,
only
it
reason
does
why
have
we
an
still have
impact
to
on it.
play the game, bro. You still have to cover Terrell Owens.
But if you know
you
what they're
still
doing,
have
though-
to tackle Brian Westbrook. Yeah, but everybody, here's the thing. Everybody knows what you're doing. Your entire playbook has been already busted out for 16 games already. Has it not? Or 17 games. I forget how long the season was back then, but
The next episode, I am going to find the Jay Glazer video. We're going to try to find a way to edit it into the video, and I'm going to explain it into more detail.
Jay glazed these nuts, bro.
We
I've
will
seen
get
the video.
into Spygate next episode.
People are haters.
I mark my words.
haters.
This is not the end.
All right, the Astros be banging on garbage cans.
No, dude, that guy, Altuve, had a device in his chest. There's a video of him coming around third, and he's afraid to, like, take his shirt off or they're afraid to hit the wire in his thing. There's nothing wrong with cheating in sports. Everybody's trying to do it, yes. But the Patriots just keep getting caught.
It's not like the Chiefs where they're cheating with the refs. That's way different.
Or with the field, how they knew about the field before we did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nah, anyway, all right. So
Anyways,
where
I
I
digress.
was getting into the schedule. The first 4 weeks,
First 4 games.
we talked about how the Eagles really don't get any favors, especially early on. They struggle. And week 1, yes, we're dropping a banner at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. But this is also new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo's first game calling plays. It brings me back to a couple years ago with Brian Johnston. Week 1, I see him and Hurts having conversations on the sideline. They don't look good. They look kind of awkward. There's you talk, then I talk. No, I'll wait. You talk, I talk. It just looked ugly. And Birds fans, we saw how that went. So, yes, we're at home. Yes, we're dropping a banner. Yes, it's the Cowboys. But week 1, Kevin Patullo, spotlight's on, buddy.
Yeah, I hear you, but I got some numbers for you. 2021 versus Atlanta, a win, 32-6. 2022 versus Detroit, win, 38-35. 2023 versus New England, 25-20, a win by Nick Sirianni. And last year, Green Bay, 34-29, a win for the Philadelphia Eagles. My boy is undefeated week 1. He's had new offensive coordinators 3 out of those 4 seasons, and why doubt him now? Why start now, bro? Nick Sirianni knows he knows what gets the people going. He's gonna have the Birds prepared. There's a huge sample size historically saying that, like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. And quite frankly, you say Kevin Patullo, but the whole offensive staff for the Cowboys is new players.
New head coach.
And then you also have to figure how, this doesn't always work. George Pickens and CD Lamb, 2 people playing with each other. Now, usually week 1 is the best week because people don't have any gripes to build up on. But, you don't know if this is going to work. And quite frankly, what a beautiful gift we get to put up the banner in front of the Cowboys fans' eyes, which is great. But I don't know. I'm not concerned about week 1.
The only difference between the years you mentioned, you went through the last 4 years and how we started off hot. The only difference, Dons, is...
Of Nick's tenure.
Well, no. The only difference is we didn't win the Super Bowl any of those years prior. So
True.
we are coming off a Super Bowl championship run. There's just, what do they call that? Human nature, Don.
Well,
it's human nature to take your foot off the gas. It's human nature to realize, wait a minute, this is week 1 of a 20-week journey, if we're going to the playoffs and going as far as we think, of a 21-week journey where it's not like baseball and basketball, where not to say that every game doesn't count, but just week 1 is, in the first 4 games even, when you know you have a long or a tall mountain to climb, sometimes you can get tripped up in those early games.
But a couple things, though. Number 1, not their first Super Bowl run. We did it in 2022 when we lost to Kansas City. Historically speaking, teams that lose the Super Bowl, Bengals, Joe Burrow, end up crumbling and becoming terrible teams. Nick Sirianni fought and got through that. Number 2, I forgot. But it don't matter because the Birds are going to win. The Cowboys are nobodies. And quite frankly, I'm a little disturbed that you're even concerned that we're going to lose to the Cowboys. And damn, I really forgot my second point, though. But yeah, we've done this before. We won the Super Bowl. And secondly, this team is young. We're not filled with a bunch of old people. Not old people, but older players that have been there, done that before, that have played 15 seasons, 6 seasons, 8 seasons, and they're like, oh, here we go, the grind. This is still new and exciting for a lot of these guys. So I'm not as concerned. That's just me.
The other thing, too, is the leadership in the locker room. I think it was within the week after us winning the Super Bowl, I heard multiple stories about Hurts is already back working, already with his trainer, already doing things to insinuate, yep, we won. I'm already moving on. I'm already looking ahead to next year.
Go ahead. I tried to tell these fools the biggest similarity and biggest comparable that I have to Jalen Hurts as a pro is Mr. Thomas Edward Brady.
Oh, my God.
That's some Tom Brady shit right there, Jalen.
I know.
That's some Tom Brady shit. And I've been saying it for years now. I don't want to say that it's just because of Super Bowl. I've been saying it since this man has gotten into the league. Jalen Hurts reminds me of Tom Brady. He's just black, fast, and athletic.
He's a leader.
He's a leader.
He's exactly who you want at the microphone after the game.
He's a leader. Love him. Anyways.
So, the other thing I wanted to mention, we do have some new pieces on defense, Dons. So we're going to be leaning more on guys like, yes, he started last year, but Quinion, Cooper, and now the young guy, Andrew Makuba, is going to be probably playing his first game. Are we going to have Kelly Ringo out there? We're going to have another second-year guy in Cooper DeJean. So we do have some young people in the secondary. The other thing, believe it or not, Dons, you were talking parlays. You can already place a bet on the game.
Of course.
Give me the spread. What do you think?
These sports
Who's
books
favored
need their
and by
money.
how much?
These sports books need their money. That's one thing that I'm a little concerned about this year. Because if you rewind the hands of time just 5 years ago, and you don't even have to go 5 years. The reason why I'm concerned about the Eagles is the loss of Darius Slay and the loss of Isaiah Rodgers. CJGJ, sure. I'm definitely concerned about the replacement spot, but I have more confidence that we'll fill that spot.
Respect.
But having bad cornerback play or cornerback play that is not up to par to be an elite team is a real freaking issue in this league. I think people are taking for granted how good Darius Slay was. I know last year I trashed Darius Slay a couple times, and I feel like for good reason in the beginning of the season, they weren't like up to par the way that they ended up turning it around and playing later on. But changing your secondary over and putting it in the hands of young players, like that got me concerned. I'm not saying that I'm shivering in me boots. Like I have confidence that we can figure it out, but let's not pretend like it's not something that we have to go through this year.
You know what gives me confidence, though, is this is now the second year in Vic Fangio's defense. So we had...
But not the same players, though.
Well, we had rookies last year in key spots, Q and also Cooper. Now this is their second year under Fangio with more experience. Maybe as weird as it is to say, even being able to give some guidance and tips in this defense to guys who are young like Makuba, who hasn't played yet. I guess from listening to Zach Bond talk post-Super Bowl, Vic's defense is very instinct-based where you kind of know what you have to do. It's not a lot of processing. This is what we run, and you just have to read either the portion of the field, the formation, how they are aligned. And once you sort of have those instincts, it's second nature to you. But in the beginning, that could be something where guys are thinking instead of moving.
Yeah. But Darius Slay's the coach on the field. And there's only so much you can do as an actual coordinator or coach to get your players ready. You're not going to be running at the speed that they're running. You know, you're not going to be able to go out there and make live in-game adjustments or be in that huddle. It's a big deal. It's losing Darius Slay is a big deal. And he's still, I think, a great cornerback. I still think he's going to be good this year. I'm a little nervous about it. You know, I know that you feel better because it's Fangio's second year, and I do too because of that. But our secondary just looks so different. It's going to be a harder year, I think.
Well,
so should it start?
Despite your concerns, Dons, the people who get paid big bucks or earn big bucks betting on these games have the Birds favored currently, despite it being May 16th. The Birds are favored by, I've seen 6 and I've seen 6.5. So despite the 53-man roster being finalized, we're pretty much there, other than depth charts. Maybe somebody takes a spot here or there, but we pretty much know who's going to be on each team.
Yeah.
Despite the concerns with Pickens and Lamb, Birds are favored by 6. So that puts us into week 2.
Against the Chiefs.
And week 2, we've got an angry dog that we've got to play, Dons. We've got to go to Kansas City. So no luxury of playing at home in front of our own fans. We're going on the road to a, let's call it a hostile environment. Let's call it an angry, a pissed off.
Isn't it always, though?
Well, I mean, but Dons, how often do you watch a Super Bowl and it's 40-6, 34-6? We put I'm going to hold back here, but we put a whooping on them. They couldn't block us. They couldn't stop us. It was embarrassing if you're a Chiefs fan. One of my favorite things to do now, if I ever get in a bad mood, Dons, I have them saved on my phone. All the videos of the reactions of the Chiefs fan, either after the Devontae touchdown, after the Cooper DeJean touchdown. Yeah. If I have a stressful day at work, a bad time at the gym, if I stub my toe, what do? Throw on some highlights of Chiefs fans having to watch us put an absolute ass whooping on them. So, week 2, the NFL wasted no time giving us a Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs being embarrassed the last time we saw them.
Yeah.
I do expect a much sharper Kansas City who's looking for revenge. I've seen some videos of Rashee Rice, who hurt his knee last year, Xavier Worthy. One of the only bright spots in the Super Bowl for the Chiefs was Worthy. And maybe we were playing against second stringers, but I expect their offense to be sharp and their defense to be much better. You know Spagnuolo is going to spend the next 90 days preparing for the Eagles. Screw week 1. I know they have a game week 1, but he said it took him 3 weeks to even watch the film on the Eagles Super Bowl. So you know that defense is going to come ready. What are your thoughts on week 2 at Kansas City?
I had similar thoughts as you. Super Bowl revenge, all that nonsense. And honestly, it's not so much the Kansas City Chiefs I'm worried about. It's really just the tandem combination of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. The Chiefs at not any position other than quarterback has me worried. as far as them being more talented than us.
Yep.
And we'll see what comes out of rookies, people they sign, stuff like that, as far as like wide receivers. But I mean, they're doing Mahomes super dirty. Like, get this man some actual talent, please. And you want to know when I knew the Chiefs were in trouble last year? When Carson Wentz got into the game and they couldn't do absolutely anything in the regular season with Wentz as the backup. And the only real difference of like who wasn't playing was like Travis Kelce and maybe Xavier Worthy. And I think Worthy still played some snaps. I don't remember exactly. When your backup quarterback can barely get a first down, especially when you have a backup quarterback at that caliber. Now Wentz isn't like whatever, but he's top of the league when it comes to backups, in my opinion. When you can't get first downs and you get blown out, I just knew the Chiefs, like, they weren't the same Chiefs that we were used to watching the last few years.
Now, they did do things this offseason, despite letting Joe Tooney go, which was mesmerizing to me, but sounds good. The Bears got an upgrade. They did draft. They drafted a tackle, and I believe they signed or traded for another one. So they did attempt to increase their protection from Mahomes. Let's see if it is enough. The other thing, Dons, I was looking at our pass rush and our sack leaders from last year. We lost our number 1 and our number 3 in sacks last season in Josh Sweat and Milton Williams.
Yeah, but you know how I feel about those guys, man. I mean, those guys aren't world beaters. They're not irreplaceable talents. They're just not. They were our number 1s last year, but they're not irreplaceable talent.
Not that they're irreplaceable, but this reminds me of when people want to get rid of a quarterback. It's like, okay, you want to get rid of the guy and replace him, but who are we replacing him with? And is he as good or capable of putting up those numbers?
Yeah.
So that means we need guys to step up. And I look down the roster and we're capable. It might be more of a team thing this year than it is we have a guy who has 15, 16 sacks. But the Chiefs did.
Well, that's kind of what we did last year too, because Sweat's numbers weren't the greatest. They were good numbers, but
we were spread between a good amount of guys. Yeah.
So again, it's going to be like kind of business as usual, I think, for the D-line like last year.
The one last thing I want to mention about playing Kansas City is, despite all the wonderful things we just said about the Eagles and how we dominated them, one area of the field we didn't dominate is Saquon Barkley. He had a pretty average, if not below average game. Let's see if the Eagles can adjust. So we talked about the Chiefs adjusting and Reed and Mahomes. Can we get Saquon to 18 carries for 112 yards and get him in the end zone? Or are we going to be...
Well, it'll be 20-plus carries, I think.
Or are we going to see what we did in the Super Bowl where Spagnuolo found a way to fill those gaps and not give Saquon any real ability to break out and get those big runs? So that's something else I'm looking for.
I hear you. That is what happened, but we also had 2 very injured offensive linemen in the Super Bowl and 1 semi-injured offensive lineman in the Super Bowl, to the point where like they needed surgery as soon as like the season ended. Like our dudes, Landon and Cam Jurgens, were both super hurt. Becton was hurt a little bit too. Like, these guys were injured. I don't think that we're going to have the same issue moving the ball week 2 unless something drastic happens. I honestly think the Super Bowl was more of a reflection of the O-line not being healthy when it comes to the run game than like Spagnuolo figuring out Saquon Barkley. Because in all honesty, if that was the case, then everybody would figure it out. Like, all you got to do is just fill a gap. You know, these guys just weren't getting any push. They were holding up well. They held up their guys. We got great pass protection. But as far as like mauling people, they didn't have a minute.
I'm with you, Dons. And that,
I
mean, we go from Banner Night to at Kansas City and now back home.
And this is the game that actually I'm more concerned about than any in our first 4 is against the Rams. Matthew Stafford gets a new toy in Devontae Adams, right? He ends up, Jared Verse rookie season was a huge success. How will year 2 go? Everything's looking up for Jared Verse. Great outside linebacker, great edge rusher. And interestingly enough, they end up getting Oregon's rookie tight end, Terrence Ferguson, who led Oregon with 134 receptions and 16 touchdowns. He ran a 4.63 40 and ran a 1.55 10-yard split, fastest out of all the tight ends in the draft class. So they got a real weapon for Matthew Stafford. Coming that Higbee's now in his last year and honestly had a super low performing season because I had him in fantasy. And I don't know. I think Matthew Stafford gets the retooling that he needs. You know, he's not relying on Cooper Kupp, who's been very injury prone, and Puka Nacua. He's a real talent.
So if you were to ask Eagles or Eagles fans in the last 2 months of the season, which team gave you the most trouble, who played you the toughest, who gave you a scare? Not Kansas City, not Dallas, not Washington. the Los Angeles Rams, Dons.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, if not for Jalen Carter, I might not be wearing that Super Bowl shirt because we had a guy wide open. The Rams did, excuse me. Jalen Carter wrecks the game, ends it. So we've got another team. We go from revenge game number 1 at Kansas City to another team that we just beat last year that feels like in their locker room, we can beat the Eagles. We nearly beat them last year in the snow. We're from L.A. We were coming off the fire drama. They're going to, were the players affected? I heard a lot of stories about that.
But we had the planes.
yeah. Going into Philly and playing that game. So another team with revenge on their mind after a devastating defeat in the snow. If not for Jalen Carter, huge sack on Stafford on 3rd down. The Rams are driving with just under 4 minutes to play. This game, I expect it to go down to the wire. You had talked about Jared Verse. That Rams defense is young. I expect it to be engaged and build off of their strong performance from last year.
But also, if there wasn't any snow, I think we would have blown them out. I truly do think that. I think if all things were played on an equal playing field and there was no exterior components, like give Matt Stafford some credit. I gotta stop saying like so much, but give Matt Stafford some. He's a savvy veteran. He knows how to play in the snow. He knows how to play in all type of weather conditions. He got ginormous hands and probably a huge dong. Matthew Stafford's a beast. I just don't think.
Go ahead.
I don't think last year, if they played on no snow, the game would have been that close.
Anybody curious or has a few minutes of your day, if you're bored, go look up the video of Matthew Stafford and his wife after the Super Bowl. Somebody falls off the stage and his reaction to that. Enough about Matthew Stafford. So what I really want to talk about, Dons, is in the first 3 weeks of the season, you talked about being concerned about Darius Slay being gone. So I'm going to just name the receivers that we're going to play in the first 3 weeks of the season. Okay. You have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. That's a top 10 duo, if you ask me. You have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Hold on. Rice was unbelievable last year before his injury. Worthy has showed he has the potential to take that second-year leap. Not only that, he has elite speed, Dons. Yeah. By the way, this must be the 7th or 8th time I've said elite, so we're going to find another adjective. But boy, is Worthy fast as hell. So we go from Kansas City to week 3. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. My point being is our young secondary is going to be tested early and often.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then to follow that up, unless you got anything else to say about the Rams.
I was just about to transition to our kryptonite.
Week 4, Tampa. My question here is, can Baker Mayfield follow up such a successful season with another good one? Can he keep stacking it up? They have aging wide receivers in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. They did end up, and part of me, dude, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, but they end up drafting
Emeka
Egbuka.
Yep. Beast.
Wide receiver. Can you be a dynamic threat? Are you enough to keep that wide receiver room rejuvenated and fresh? Time will tell. There's a lot of first-round busts when it comes to wide receivers. There's also a lot of wide receivers that end up blowing through the roof. We've been seeing the last couple of years, teams have been hitting more on wide receiver 1 more than not. Tampa's just that team that always has our number. I'm not saying we can't beat them. I'm not saying I'm afraid of them. I'm just saying for the first 4 games of this season, damn, this is a hard schedule.
No doubt, Dons. And I know you're going to feel me or
Cowboys 0-17.
See where I'm going with this one. But living in a part of the country where the seasons change and you have winter where it can be -5 and summer where it can be 105. Sometimes when you play a team during the season is important. For example, we'll bring it local first. When the Patriots have to go down to Miami and play the Dolphins early in the season, it's always problematic. The famous play I'm seeing in my head now is the throwback at the end of the game. They have Gronkowski in to trying to chase the guy.
Hail Mary, yeah.
Yes. Long story short, I say that to say
that was an insane play.
An insane play. For the Eagles to have to go to Tampa, just as they did last year, the thing that we talked about after that game was, to me, that was the worst performance of the season for the Eagles. Yeah. We looked, effort was an issue, tackling was an issue, blocking was an issue, and they had our number 2 years ago in the playoffs. So let's fast forward now to when we're playing them this year. Week 4, right at the end of September, where the heat should still be a factor, the humidity should still be a factor, but this time I expect the Eagles to come out and be dominant. Yeah. I'm talking the first 4 games of the season, you might see our best performance against Tampa. specifically, if you ask me, because of what happened last season, because of Vic Fangio. We heard stories about him getting on the defense after they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. You know he's going to be in their ass, showing them film of, look at this atrocious effort. Look at this atrocious defense. So I expect us to be ready to play Week 4 at Tampa.
Damn, Jerry. So we just went through those first 4 games.
Yep.
You know, we discussed the whole, weeks 1 through 18 for the schedule, obviously by week 9. What are the 3 game stretch here that concerns you the most out of this whole season? And if you want, I could start.
Yeah, I want you to go first.
So to me, it's tough. The easy thing to say is Chiefs, Rams, Tampa, because it's the beginning of the season, new coordinators, some rookies, young players. But the back half of our schedule, playing Washington, Buffalo, and Washington is such a weird flex for the NFL. It's almost like they were like, hey, just put it in some sort of algorithm. To play the team that made it to the NFC Championship game and then to play the Buffalo Bills, who are either going to be playing for a number 1 seed or they have locked down the number 1 seed so far that they don't have to really care about this game. The finishing 3 weeks of our seasons where it's at Commanders, at Bills, and then at home. It sounds real messed up. That's all I got to say. It just doesn't sound right.
So the only thing I like about the 3 games that you picked, or it gives me less concern, is at the end of the season. So we should be, you would think, at our best or sort of playing our best going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
The opponents, though, it's sort of weird when you play an opponent 2 times in 3 weeks.
Especially your own division.
You talked about game planning. To me, it's almost like I don't want to say a week you don't have to prepare, but you prepare differently, I would think, because you just played them 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure teams don't obviously show everything in the first matchup. Maybe they're holding stuff, or maybe just based off the first matchup, they played the run this way. Now we're going to run these different plays. Or when we get into this set, they give us this zone. Now we know how to adjust. So when you play a team twice in 3 weeks, I think you get to adjust differently.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. So what are your 3?
For me, it's weird enough, Dons. We're coming off a bye. The Birds come off a bye in Week 10 with a trip to Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, followed by a home game on a short rest against the Lions, and then a trip to the Dallas Cowboys. So, yes, we're coming off a bye, but to Lambeau, short week against the Lions, who coming into last season thought they were the number 1 team. We're going to win the division. We're going to win the conference. Their whole thing is injuries now. Same thing with the 49ers. We would have beat the Eagles if we were... Well, now you got a new season and a new chance to try. So for me, it's coming off that bye in Week 10 to Lambeau, home game, short rest against the Lions. They're going to be motivated. And then coming back with a trip to Dallas, assuming we beat them Week 1 after we hang that banner. Those 3 games in the middle of the season, Dons, they sort of, because they're against playoff level competition, it's going to go a long way to me in determining how the Eagles finish, their seeding, and sort of how they go into that last stretch of games, or how they go into those stretch of games that you talked about, those really 3 important games. If we, in this stretch, lose all 3, suddenly those last 3 against Washington and Josh Allen and Buffalo become super, super important.
Yeah. And the Packers were the 5th best team in the NFC last year. The Lions were the number 1 team in the NFC last year. And then the Cowboys are just a divisional game, so you never know what's going to happen. And you're playing at Dallas.
Packers played us great Week 1 in Brazil last year. We had 2 turnovers in the first 3 drives. They couldn't capitalize. The defense kept making them, kick field goals. This
great
is also,
defense.
You know what else is funny about this one, Dons? We don't know as of today what the final result is going to be, but the tush push was put forth, or banning the tush push was put forth by the Green Bay Packers. So you bet your ass when we play them,
there's going to be push every offensive play.
Well, if it's even allowed.
The whole play.
We should actually, let's take 30 seconds and actually talk about it, Dons. If I had, if you had to bet whatever, is the tush push going to be allowed in 2025? Are you voting yes, I think it's going to be allowed, or
I think
no,
yes.
They're going to ban it?
I think yes. I think it's going to be allowed.
You think yes? Okay.
Yeah, I do. You?
From what I've heard, Mrs. Diana Rossini, her husband is a big Eagles
Diana
fan.
Ross.
She's a great reporter, a great beat reporter. She has reported, from what she's hearing, not only are we getting rid of the tush push, we're also getting rid of the running back or receiver who catches a pass and is met by a defender and nobody's really moving anywhere. We're at a standstill. All of a sudden, 6'3", 360-pound offensive lineman, bang,
I hate that.
pushes into the running back. Then we've got 2 more offensive linemen, and we're pushing him downfield. He's got 5, he's got 7, he's got 8.
Yeah.
That is going away too.
That
So
needs to be going away, though.
we can't have one without the other. So if we're going to
I
get rid of the
disagree.
tush push, we got to get rid of pushing the guy in the back. That's what she reported was, hey, they're not getting rid of the tush push. They're getting rid of all
They're
pushing
two
in the
different
back.
plays, though, because one is your momentum's completely stopped, and the other one, your momentum's always going. So I think it's two completely different plays because the defense should be rewarding for stopping you at that moment, and then you can't move forward anymore. And then all of a sudden, some fat bastard comes, hits you, and then he goes, "Oh, I didn't have any corn," and then pushes you for another 12 yards. I hate that shit. Anyways,
Just
maybe
makes me
hypocritical.
concerned that we may not have the tush push
I
anymore.
hope
But
it
you know what?
stays.
Most of the time, I think Hurts could get it without the push. It just is going to be a different kind of.
Yeah,
you know?
QB sneak. So, what? Who cares? Listen, this is great and all, Chris. But I have a little game for you. Are you ready for it?
I'm always
you
ready
ready
for
for
games,
it?
Dons. You
All
know
right,
me.
So this is something that I was thinking about. Just a little bit of fun here. We are going to list, and I want you to blind rank these. And all right, so I'm gonna give you a list, and this is gonna be a game about desserts. I'm gonna give you a list of names of desserts.
Man. Okay.
We're gonna list 1 through 5. You have the option to pass on a dessert and not rank it.
Can I type them out too?
And once you get 5 on the list, you get 1 swap.
Okay, I love it.
All
Let's
right.
do it, dude.
All right, so let's start. All right, so 1 through 5, where do you have cookies?
Cookies.
Can you write this down?
Yeah, I was gonna say I need to put this in here. Let's see. Cookies. I'm gonna go 3.
All right, cookies number 3.
Yep.
Cheesecake.
Oh, that's easy. That's going 5. It's good, but like it's too overpowering. Sometimes, like I don't want just regular cheesecake. I want cookie dough cheesecake or some kind of little sweet treat added to it. I can't just eat a plain Jane piece of cheesecake. Too much for me.
Pie. Just in general, pie.
Mama's homemade apple pie. We got blueberry pie. We got pumpkin pie. 4.
Okay. Brownies. Remember, you can pass if you want.
Yeah, I know. I'll put the brownie. I'm gonna skip the brownies for now.
Okay. Pudding.
Oh shit! I should have skipped that. So I have to put it now 2-1.
You
Or
don't
I
have to. You can
I
pass.
can. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna make the pudding the skip, and we're gonna put the brownies.
Nope. You
No, I
can't
can't
go
do
back.
that. I can't go
You
back.
can't go back.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, pudding's 2. I didn't plan this out. Shit. I'm gonna be better at this next time. Pudding 2.
You're putting pudding at 2?
I have to. Where else can I put it? Right?
No,
Can
you
I?
don't have to. You could pass.
Oh, I'm passing then. Pass.
All right. Donuts.
2. Give me a nice maple frosted coffee roll from Dunkin' Donuts or anything maple. If
Listen,
you
I
know
know-
me, you know I love maple.
I know
Oh
this
my
is same,
God.
same, but different. But fried dough. Or doughboys.
I could pass on a Doughboy.
Tiramisu.
Oh, number 1, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, tiramisu is like, you know what's funny? I never even had tiramisu until about 5 years ago. It didn't really appeal to me. It looked like nothing to it. And then I had it from, rest in peace of this place because it just closed this past year, the old canteen in Providence on Federal Hill. Notoriously, I want to say it's been there for over 100 years, close to it. Just recently sold, and they turned it into a weenie joint. They have some of the best tiramisu. You got to soak the lady fingers in the coffee liqueur, Dons. Some people just don't do it. Tiramisu's number 1, no doubt.
Cobbler.
What are my options? I can pass it? I'll pass it. I'm not really a cobbler guy. I could just have pie.
Ice cream.
Another one. I could do without ice cream, honestly. Can I take this and replace it with my
Tarts.
cheesecake?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, then.
Not till the end. Not till we get your 5. Then you get to replace
okay,
1.
Okay. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3. I have 5 actually. Tiramisu 1, donuts 2, cookies 3, pie 4, cheesecake 5.
Okay.
So now I get 1 switch. You said?
No, bitch. We're going through our list.
Oh shit. Okay.
All right. Tarts are the other ones.
Pass.
Well, you don't got a choice, really.
Okay.
Tres leches
Nope, not for me.
and mochi. That's the last
Oh,
one.
damn. You saved the good one for last, too. I didn't even know anything about mochi until maybe 18 months ago, 16 months ago. Don's introduced me. And although I haven't been, I have to control myself when it comes to those things because you're like potato chips. But if I could put mochi on the list, I'm going to. So let's
Well,
put
you got
it.
1 replace. That's it.
Yeah, I could also put brownies on the list, too. So we're not moving tiramisu. Donuts 2, 3 cookies. All right, let's take out cheesecake at 5 and replace it.
You only got one swap. Just one. Your top 5 dessert list.
That's 5. I'll put ice cream on there.
I thought you said you didn't like ice cream.
It's all right. What was the thing you just said? The last one you just gave me?
Mochi.
Yeah, mochi. I like mochi better than ice cream, and it's healthier. I'm trying to be health conscious. So the
So
final
what's your
list.
list?
Yeah, final list. You want 5 through 1 or 1 through 5?
1 through 5.
Number 1, tiramisu all day. Number 2, donuts. Number 3, cookies. Number 4, pie. And number 5, mochi. Oh, man.
Anyways, I just
Why
want
you do this to me, man? Now I'm hungry. Now I want all this stuff. I've been trying to eat good lately, but that was good, man. Damn, now I'm hungry. All right, well, I know where I'm going after this, and that's to get some mochi.
All right.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
Okay. Mine is I was going to make it football related, but then I said, let's step outside the box a little bit. Some of these will be football related, but I have got 5 random questions for Don's.
All right, let's do it.
He has no idea what they are.
No idea.
I texted him yesterday and said,
There's
hey, man,
a box.
excuse me. I said, hey, I got 5 questions for you. I can, send them to you now so you can prepare, or do you want it organic? And Don sent me quick as hell right away. He said, I don't want to see those questions. I don't want to see those
Yeah, I don't
questions.
see
So
those
now you're going to
questions,
get
bro.
the
Let the
organic
world
Don's.
see how dumb I am, bro.
No, this is not that. It's not even trivia. I wouldn't do that. It's more of like opinion pieces. Here we go. Number 1. With the NFL schedule being released this past Thursday, Dons, I'm curious, I'm sure the fans are too, what is your typical schedule like on a football Sunday when the Birds are playing? Fill me in, Craig David style. So you can either do I wake up at X time, or you can do, you know, however you want to describe it. But give me, you wake up, your eyes open Sunday morning, and the Birds are on. What's your schedule?
If it's a 1 o'clock game, that's what we're going to go with. I get up around like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Go get a sausage, egg, and cheese with a hash browns. Put the hash brown in the middle. Eat the second hash brown alone. Plow through that. Partake in a couple of extracurriculars. Make sure my parlays are ready for the game. Make sure I get everything all set on Sunday. And then, honestly, it's changed because now I have a boy in the house. But honestly, bro, I just sit in my computer room, put on the Eagles game, put on a secondary game on the smaller screen.
That was my next question.
I just rock up, watch the games, yell. Halftime comes, go on an extracurricular break.
Yep. Part of the reason I wanted to ask you this.
Actually, hold on a second. Hold on a second, because I'm not done.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to me last year is that the second half,
Yep.
when I would be partaking in my special activities outside, the Eagles would always play better when I was watching the game from my car. So I would stream the game on my phone for the first like couple of minutes and keep watching it in the car because the Eagles kept playing better and taking over games when I would do that.
Are you superstitious? I think so.
I'm a little stitious.
A little stitious, Don. That's dope. So one of the other little side questions I have is like, do we have 1 TV? Do we have 2 TVs? Do we have a laptop? Do we have like, we got the phone with the parlays. We got the main TV. Do you have Red Zone on?
TV and a laptop. And honestly, I don't watch my parlays until the last like game because it's what's the point?
Yep. Do you eat when it, like, so for me, just 20 seconds on me, when it's 1 o'clock and the games are on, 99% of the time I'm eating something when all the games start. There's nothing better for me than sitting in front of the games and having that high of like all the games are coming on, the Red Zone's coming on, the local game, and I've got some kind of delicious, probably not good for me, carb related pizza, chicken wings, fried food in front of me, ready to just indulge.
Yes.
You have a meal?
Nah, not really. I'm usually a post or pre-eater.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. If it's like a Sunday night, I'm excited, or Monday night or whatever. Sometimes I'll order like a pizza and get some wings. But surprisingly enough, not big eater for the games.
Cool. Okay. So we got Don's schedule. He needs his bacon, sausage, egg, and cheese. He wants a
I have
hash
a Coke
brown.
sometimes.
He wants one on the
give him
side
that.
too. And well, now we know Don's Sunday schedule. So number 2, this one's a totally different direction, Don's. Everything I read about the
game alone.
Eagles. What?
I said, watching the game alone.
Yeah, I was
as
gonna,
God intended.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Do you ever watch it alone? Like, do you have any sort of? Do you put a jersey on? Do you like have certain?
Sometimes.
None of it. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay.
All right, next question.
Number 2. Everything that I read about the Eagles and their schedule is how tough and difficult their schedule is. So, Dons, to you, in your opinion, what is the toughest part of being an Eagles fan, in your opinion?
The living and dying by every single play. I just get so stressed for every single damn play. Like, why did you release outside shoulder instead of inside shoulder? Like, why didn't you cut behind the guard instead of going outside of the tackle shoulder? I literally cling on every single second of the game, and every single moment is a freaking stress-filled environment. During the game, I am a completely different person. I don't know where I go, what happens. I get depressed when we lose. I get super happy when we win. It's just every moment, dude. Every fucking goddamn play, every timeout, every look to the sideline, every single missed thing. Like, and it's just like, how'd you not see your number 3 receiver? He's wide open. You know, you got 6 yards here, but you could have got 8 yards here. Or you got 12 yards here, but the smarter play would have been throwing it 6 yards, and then we would have got 15 yards if we ran it. I overdo it. I think it's part of me being a coach or, you know, my coaching record and stuff like that. Every single thing, dude. If somebody steps the wrong way, I'm on it, dude. I am the worst.
Don's is commonly second guessing the coaching staff, the players, decision making, all the above.
All the time.
I took it a little bit of a different direction. To me, Don's, it's all the hate that we get for booing Santa Claus. Like, it happened one time. Like, shit happens.
That ain't shit to me. I don't give a damn.
Like, that's the first thing everybody talks about. Oh,
it was
Eagles
a drunken
fans, they boo
Santa Claus too. Apparently, that Santa Claus was like drunk and acting a fool, and that's why like people like were being a dick to that guy.
There you go. Okay, number 3. Here we go. This is football related. If I could present you with a ticket or tickets to any game this season, which game are you going to and why? So it doesn't have to be an Eagles game. I mean, I would assume it would be. But for example, week 1.
Honestly, it would have to be week 1. It would have to be Cowboys-Eagles banner night. What greater gift than to see a loser franchise who hasn't won in over 30 years see a banner get pulled up for the second time in your own division, and you can't do nothing about it. That would be it. I'm not going to lie to you. I loved going to the link. It was one of the greatest experiences. Football is meant to be consumed on the couch. I'd rather watch a game at home than in the stadium.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a different experience. I want to do a press box someday. I've heard that's a good experience too. But so for me, I'm gonna loophole it a little bit here, Dons, and I want to go to the Super Bowl, man. I want the Super Bowl ticket. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Even if we going or we not going, I'm selling it, or I'm going to the game, or maybe even. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe NFC Championship because we're at home. That's like the last home game of the season.
Yeah.
You know, especially. Hindsight's 2020. If we went to this NFC Championship against Washington, where we're blowing them out, and you get to really enjoy yourself,
that would have been so fun.
So,
well, I didn't know it was historical. I guess
I made a loophole
or financial. If it's financial, then obviously the Super Bowl. But I'm a little hesitant to want to go to the Super Bowl because I'm just a big football fan, and there's so many people there that don't really care about the game, and nothing to me is more annoying than just watching a game that somebody is like, yeah, but did you see? Oh my God, can you believe they're building a new Walmart off of the highway? Can you see? It's actually Sam's Club. Oh no, I was confused. I'm sorry. It was a Costco. Shut the hell up trying to watch the birds. Anyway.
You're right, Dons.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Talk to me about the game.
This one is for the fans. Why and when did you come up with the bright idea or think to start a podcast about the Philadelphia Eagles?
Okay. So I had been flirting with the idea of starting a podcast on my own for a while. Done a couple dry runs and stuff like that. I'm really big on comedy. It's actually something I want to do. I want to try to get into stand-up and start doing that. I know it's not hard. All you have to do is have guts, and that's the tough part. I get that. But I want to start doing comedy. Always want to do a comedy podcast. I recorded a couple things on my own.
Yep.
You know, I was really good at it. I'm probably a lot better at that than I am at this. When I'm interacting with 2 people and stuff like that. Because when I just go. And if I don't have an agenda that I have to stick to, my brain could just move on to the next thing, then I'm good with that. It's the planning and preparation thing that I struggle with. But anyways, we just reconnected as friends. You know, we hadn't really hung out with each other for a few years. Weren't in everybody's day-to-day life. We started working out with each other, and you love the Eagles, and I had been talking about, you know, potentially starting another podcast where I just talked about stuff, and, you know, you're a very different person than me, where you're, like, very organized, structured, like, you know, you write your shit out, all this other stuff. I just felt like our combination between the two of me being a goofy, like, grumpy bastard, and you just being, like, a very statistical, planned, you know, kind of person where like we're opposites, right? Like I'm very laissez-faire, like whatever, and you care more. You know, you care about what people think about you more. I care way less about what people think about me. You want to make sure your product's good. I just want to get the product out there and work on it. So I just thought that it would be such a good combination for us to do this, to have fun. And that's kind of
well said, Dons.
Yeah. And
Well
like,
said.
honestly, like what I asked you like 2-3 weeks before the season started, let's do this.
And look what it's turned into, Dons. Now we're Super Bowl champions. We're in year 2.
Yeah.
We got a green screen behind us. We got technology. We're
Technology.
got
And I already
social-
had all this bullshit equipment because I wanted to do a podcast anyway.
yeah.
So
Well said, Dons. That was well said,
Yeah.
honestly.
next question.
This is it. Number
Quite
5.
frankly, you're stupid and you've never had good questions. I'm actually not surprised that was such a bad question. You really don't do your job poorly.
That's actually probably a quote from Trump, honestly. I bet you said that at some point. Which team in the NFC this season gives you the most concern? Another way to phrase it. Which team gives the Eagles trouble in 2025?
What perspective, as far as like pushing for the number 1 seed or just like a Super
Meaning,
Bowl contender?
if I were to say to you, the Eagles season was going to end in January, which team do you think ended our season?
This is a hard question. I thought it'd be a lot easier. I don't think it's the Commanders.
So let me give you
it's
mine.
the
So you got a minute to think?
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's the Niners, 49ers. People forget who coaches them, what kind of organization they've been. They're either elite, 13, 14, 15 wins, or they don't even make the playoffs. And what happened to them last year? Injuries, 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 injuries. The Lions were happy to take that brand last year of, we're the team with all the injuries. If we had our guy, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, elite offensive line, Ricky Pearsall, Fred Warner. I mean, they did lose a couple of pieces. Greenlaw and Hufanga both went to another team. I'm losing it now. But to me, it's the 49ers. They put a nice whooping on us in Philly in the regular season. I can remember it now. Debo Samuel, 3 touchdowns, absolutely dominated us. Yes, we did beat them with the Purdy injury, but to me, I see the 49ers stepping up, potentially giving the Eagles some trouble. What about you, Mr. Dons?
I'm really struggling with this, and this is actually going to be like a out of left field answer. And I haven't given this much thought except for now.
That's good. It's organic.
But I think that Atlanta Falcons might be a team to be reckoned with this year. They got 2 pretty solid wide receivers. They got a really good running back in Bijan Robinson. Who I've gotten a lot of hate for calling him
Jesus, Dons. I can't believe you even said his name this week.
I know, but no, really.
I
Like
know.
Bijan is a great running back. Is he as prolific as everybody says he is? I don't. Time will tell. But this guy ranked behind only Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and then Bijan Robinson was right there. If they get good quarterback play, and I mean good quarterback play, the Atlanta Falcons can be a team that can cause people a lot of fits. But maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know. I might be tripping on this one. I'm not gonna lie. I might
No,
be
you know what's
tripping.
weird? It's funny you say that, Dons. The Falcons are in prime time, like one of the most teams this year. Like I want to say 6
They're
games.
right there, dude.
They're in prime time. Let's just name their weapons on offense. We got Michael Penix, young quarterback. He's really the key. Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I mean, if
And
Kyle
Mooney?
Pitts could turn into something, my goodness.
I know, and Mooney led their team in
Stud.
receptions, bro. He's so fast. They have such a good core of players around them. Now their offensive line's a little iffy, but I think if Atlanta can get good quarterback play, they're gonna be a pretty hard team to contend with.
They did spend money on their defense,
they
upgrading their
get a new
defense, so
receiver?
they could be dangerous. What?
Did they get new receivers?
No, they have Drake and Mooney. They were
because
rumors
that's
they
the
were
thing.
gonna.
Their receivers are good, but they're not great.
They might have drafted a guy later, but yeah, so you got the Falcons. I've got the 49ers as our potential concerning teams. A lot of people have the Packers in there. Some people have the Vikings, Cowboys. So.
I have zero concerns about the Packers. Zero. Literally zero. Even if we lose to them in the regular season, I just do not believe in Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I don't. When it comes crunch time, Jordan has failed, and failed again. Can he overcome? Yeah, obviously anything can happen, but I don't know. I'm not worried about the Packers.
Those are my 5 random questions for Dons.
We did it, dude.
What'd you think, dude? You did pretty well, I'd say. It wasn't like trivia-based stuff. I didn't want to have us sitting here like dead air while we have to think about which quarterback threw for 5,000 yards in 2011. That's not fun to listen to, you know.
I don't know. I'd probably say Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson.
You probably would be right, too. So to me now, I don't want to do another game. Let's do Just In with Don's.
Yeah,
and
dude,
then
I
another
was
game.
actually just gonna freaking go into it. Let's go into this Just In with Don's. And honestly, I've been having a tough time coming up with this one this week. Just had a lot of shit going on.
That's a
But
good thing.
I will say, this week in this Just In with Don's, we're gonna keep it real simple. And you ready for it? Spoilers.
Yep.
I hate them.
Me too.
They suck. They're the worst. And let me tell you a little story why. And there's a couple things that this has happened to me, but it's happening less now. So, at the time, I had a 7-year-old boy at the house that I'm living with. And I should say my kid. Well, I should say my stepkid, my beautiful, beautiful woman's baby. I love The Legend of Zelda. When The Legend of Zelda came out in 2017, I had waited an eternity for it. Breath of the Wild came out. I beat that game. And then it took 6 years for them to release another game in the series, i.e. Tears of the Kingdom. Tell me why, before I even got to turn the game on, this kid had already watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it. And he comes in, he starts blurring, he's like, can you believe it? Can you believe that Zelda's dragging the whole time? And X, Y, and Z is happening? He literally ruined the entire story and told me exactly what happened in the game before I even got to push the power button on the Switch to play it. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? I was so fucking mad. And he's a kid, so like, what can you do? It's not like you can do too much. I told him, I'm like, yo, that's not cool. That's not cool. I also got him into this show called My Hero Academia. And when he got like he's obsessed with it now. But he's so into it that like he'll watch, because the anime comes out after the book is already written, right? The manga. So the manga comes out, everything in the story that happens. So he would tell me spoilers in the story from the YouTube videos that he'd watch. And I'd be like, dude, come on, you gotta stop doing this shit. So this week's This Just In with Don's, spoilers suck. If you like spoiling things for people, you're a monster. That wraps up This Just In with Don's.
Don't spoil things for people.
Yeah.
Let them enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. The only small example that comes to mind for me is my dad is notorious for reading the newspaper reviews about the movie. So we're going to go to a movie on Friday.
Glad
I'll
you
meet
said
him
that.
at the movie theater, and he'll tell me like, so-and-so said it was terrible. The action scene's bad at the end. The guy gets killed. I'm like, Dad, you just ruined the movie for me, dude. Like, I want to enjoy it and have an organic experience.
I'm glad you said this.
And not have like, even, this is another thing, like even with food sometimes, you go somewhere and you try something and you almost want to get other people's opinions before you have your own. It's like, if you like it and you enjoy it and your taste buds are happy, who cares if somebody else said the chicken parm was too crispy or had no flavor or too salty? If you enjoy it, it's your taste buds.
It's actually a new rule of thumb. Not new. It's been the last like 5 years probably. I don't watch trailers to movies anymore at all. Because trailers spoil every single good part the movie has to offer. They basically lay out the whole. And I think maybe this is my brain, and this is something I've been getting into. I'm very good at foreseeing what's to come. Like I'm too good at it, like eerily good at it.
Detective.
Where like I'll like see like 5 minutes of the movie and I'll be like, okay, this is the plot, this is how it ends, this is what finished.
I already
very
saw it.
rarely I can count on my hands that I'm wrong. Like very rarely, like shows. I actually just watched Tom Segura's new show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is genius, by the
liked
way.
it, huh?
So I did like it. It was funny. It was fucking gross a lot of the times when I was like, but it was funny. But this guy's so smart and he's always ahead of the curve on people, and that's why he's rich and I'm a poor. But the thing that you watch, like one episode isn't just one episode. It's a bunch of different like characters and different things that happen. So like they'll start one of the skits before that block of episode ends. Cool. So you want to watch the second episode to finish it. Ooh. And it's long enough that it's a story, but it's short enough that you don't lose attention to it. So every time I felt like, okay, I'm moving on from this, bam, a new one started. And it was fantastic. And it was funny. There was a couple parts where I laughed. It was funny as fuck. And then there was another couple parts and I was like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, what are you doing?
He does like some sick stuff.
But the reason I say that, and I feel like, I don't know, this is part of the reason why I want to get into comedy, is like when he was doing the episodes, I was like, yo, it would be so funny if he just like, there was one scene, can I spoil it for you?
Yeah.
There was one scene where it's like it was Bobby Lee, shout out Bobby Lee, was the husband.
Bobby Lee.
And it was a wife who was dying and she had like a last wish thing and it was to fuck some dude. And at the end of the skit, whatever, the Bobby Lee was like, can you at least use a condom? And I'd be like, yo, how funny would it be if he like walked up all serious to him and was just like, no, and then closed the door. And like he did exactly that. He like just casually like walked up to the door, closed it. But it was like from the very beginning of that scene starting, like in my head, I already knew that somebody was gonna be like, "Can you at least use a rubber?" And the guy was gonna be like, "No." So like from before that scene, part of the scene even happened, I was like, "This is how this episode's gonna end," and it fucking did. And I don't know how I do it. Maybe I'm overselling myself, but I have the gift.
Sounds like you have a brain for comedy, Dons.
I don't know, dude.
That's what I think.
It happens all the times. Animes, TV shows. Like I'll watch a lot of the shit my girl's watching. I'll be like, all right, this, and that happens. Now I don't really talk much because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. I'm not that person, but I just know.
You got that sixth sense, Dons.
Yeah, I guess.
You're a clairvoyant.
It's all right. Anyways,
Okay, so
that wraps up my This Just In with Don's.
yeah, that was
And
good.
why I
Dons.
hate spoilers.
That was good because you got us. I feel like everybody has one person in their life that either tries to spoil things or successfully does it.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
I got something, Dons, and this is a new. It's a new game I came up with. I guess you call it a game. I really just want to get your thoughts on it. So the game is, are you in the huddle or on the sideline, Dons?
Ooh.
So it's just a football way to present you with some ideas, predictions that I have for this upcoming season.
If I'm
you
in
tell
or out,
me, you tell me if you're in the huddle, meaning you agree and you're with me, or you think I'm nuts, you're on the sideline watching me be a crazy guy.
okay,
Number one,
let's do it.
the biggest moment in the NFL draft, without a doubt, was the historic fall of Shedeur Sanders. Despite numerous reports from normally trustworthy sources claiming Sanders would be taken as early as the midpoint of round 1, 15, 18, 21, he fell to round 5. With 5 quarterbacks on the roster in Cleveland, including Mr. Joe Flacco, who, yes, is still playing, Mr. Sicko, Deshaun Watson, who probably won't be playing because he tore his Achilles. That leaves us with the old bird, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted in the 3rd round. If you ask me, Dons, Sanders could be starting as early as week 6 or 7. Are you in the huddle or on the sideline with Shedeur Sanders starting 6+ games for the Browns this season?
I'm in the huddle.
You're in.
I'm in the huddle. What the hell do the Browns have to lose? If they don't do it, they're dumb.
When he goes to the Browns, everybody
Unless they're
said,
a good team. Unless they're a good team and they're winning with the quarterback that they have at hand, they are the dumbest franchise if they don't play Shedeur Sanders. All the attention that he has, all the hype, all the views, all the eyes. Brother, are you kidding me? I got to stop banging the table. Are you kidding me? I'm definitely in the huddle. And if Cleveland, if you're not in the huddle, sell the team. You're done.
talk about a great way to sell jerseys and make some money for your team.
Yeah.
If he's anywhere good, ticket sales through
He
the
doesn't
roof.
have to be. If he's terrible, they're going to be talking about it for weeks.
Yeah, and people
Excuse
want to
me.
get that Sanders jersey, man.
Anyways, next
Don's is in.
question.
Number 2. Much was made about the Birds' losses on the defensive line. I mentioned it earlier. We lost our number 1 and number 3 sack earners in 2024 with Mr. Joshua Sweat heading to Arizona and Milton Williams, local guy now, living in New England. And even Darius Slay on the back end should have an impact on the Birds' defense with him staying in state, going to Pittsburgh. Last year, Nolan Smith was second on the team with 6.5 sacks. Am I crazy for thinking Nolan Smith not only takes a jump this year, but doubles his sack numbers, putting him closer to 12 to 13 for the 2025 season? Are you in?
I'm in the huddle.
Or are you on the sideline?
I'm so in the huddle.
Dons is in, baby.
I think Nolan Smith is going to put on some weight this year. He's going to be bigger, and therefore he's going to be a more productive player. What he did in the second half of the season was phenomenal, and I don't see a reason why that young man who looks like he works his ass off and is dedicated to the game and is an intelligent football player, intelligent, high football IQ, no reason why Nolan Smith isn't getting more sacks. I think he doubles it. I think he's a double-digit sack person this year. I'm in on Nolan Smith.
Let's go,
Get
Nolan.
me in that huddle.
We believe in that Georgia Bulldog. Number 3. Last but not least, Dons, this one was surprising to me when I read the stats. Last season, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Carter played together during the regular season in only 3 games. With Goddard expected back, motivated, and probably motivated after what happened this offseason, along with maybe the best 1-2 combo at wide receiver, I'm expecting that number to jump to closer to 10 to 12 games in 2025. Are you in the huddle with me on our top 3 weapons playing 10-plus games, or are you on the sideline, Dons?
I'm in the huddle there.
All
I'm in the
three,
huddle.
he's in.
I'm in the huddle. I think this is gonna. Dallas Goedert needs this for his contract. I'm in the huddle.
AJ Brown's the other one who like.
Yeah, but
you know,
usually
like-
he's for us.
Yep.
He has played the majority of games, so I don't see why that changes. I'm in the huddle.
All right, Downs. Last year it was really surprising to hear we only had 3 games, all those guys together. Dallas missed some time, Smitty, AJ. So it'll be good to get those guys back on the
I'm
field.
surprised that I'm in the huddle so much because usually I'm a sideline type of fella. Usually I'm on the sideline on things, and right now you just can't get me out of the huddle.
Dons is in the game, baby. He's
Get-
with me
get
on
me
all.
out of the huddle.
Next week I got to aim to get Dons on the sideline. I got to come up with crazier stuff. Apparently, this was just a test batch for
This
week
is
1.
cool. This is cool. I like this. I like this.
Next
All right,
week
well,
you'll get some crazy ideas. So
What
that
else
was.
you got? You got
That's it, man.
that's awesome.
That's all I got.
You got a top 5 or no?
Nope.
All right, perfect, bro. Because honestly, this has been going too long. Listen, everybody,
Yeah.
we love you. We need you. We want you. Please come throw us a follow. And please understand, we are a football podcast, mostly talking about the Birds, but we're mostly a comedy podcast talking about the Birds. It's comedy, sports. We're just fucking around here. Nothing's really all that serious. So
This is not ESPN.
we're not ESPN. Clearly, look at our production.
And
But thanks for listening. Follow us on 1.32. Email us at 1de32. That's de32 at gmail.com. Ask us questions. We'll answer. Once we start getting questions, we'll bring it onto the show. Bye-bye now.
go Birds.
Go Birds.